How's she going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's Workshop. You're so nice to give up some time and drop into the shop. I appreciate you dropping by. Thanks. Today, it's too cold to work outside. It's wet, rainy, miserable. I like it though. We need the rain. So I've got a little bit of an inside job I want to do today, and I'm talking about the lighting in the shop. So let's get right at it. So anyone out there who has either built a shop, or you're planning on building a shop, or you're moving your shop around, rearranging it like I did here last year, lighting becomes quite a little issue that you have to deal with. When I first built my shop, I wanted to have good lighting in the shop because I don't like working in shadows. So for example, if I'm working on the workbench here, if there's a light directly behind me that casts a shadow down right where I'm working, I don't like that. So I tried to set my lighting up so that it would have minimal shadows, but I also didn't want it so bright in here that you had to wear suntan lotion, you know, when you come in the shop. So I decided, instead of going with just, back then it was incandescent bulbs, it didn't have LED bulbs when I built the shop. So I went with fluorescent lights, 4-foot long, double tube fluorescent shop lights. And I put 4 of them in the shop, one right above the camera here, and then another one to my right, and then 2 on the mechanical side. They seem to give really good light. And I also, when I positioned them, I didn't position them like, say, parallel with the workbench. I positioned them at right angles to the workbench. So then my thought there was the light is going to be, you know, dispersed this way, and my bench is running this way. And that, for the most part, that worked pretty good. But then over on my mechanical bench, it wasn't working. And I'll show you why. Let's go over there right now and I'll have a look. So here's my mechanical bench, and it's along the back wall. And here's the fluorescent light, and you notice the fluorescent light is parallel to the bench. And what I found with that was, when I'm standing at the bench, then my body casts a shadow on the bench, and that's what I don't want. I don't want to have shadows. So the way I tried to address that was, I put a single light above the mechanical bench. I found that wasn't enough light, so I put a second one in over here in the corner. Now this was before I built this corner cabinet. My mechanical bench was right in that corner. So with those 2 lights right above the bench, it was working out pretty good that way. I had good lighting on the workbench and minimal shadows. But I was still getting some shadows because I was doing some work alongside the bench here. At that time I had the drill press was set up here, and I needed another light, so I added a third LED light up here. And so now I have the 3 lights over my workbench basically, and that's working good, I have to say. Not many shadows. So, you know, the way, not only the lighting that you use, but the way you position lighting makes a difference for lighting the work surfaces that you want to work at. So I did, I think, a fairly good job of laying out lighting in the shop so that I could get good lighting, general lighting in the shop, and some task lighting over the workbench. And it worked not bad. But then over the years I was thinking, you know, fluorescent lights, especially in the winter, especially when it gets cold in the shop, sometimes it gets pretty cold, below 0 in the shop. This is before I had the heat in, right? You come in and turn on the fluorescent lights, it'd be very dim, they wouldn't come on at all, or the light would be swirling in the tube, and it would look like it was flickering. Didn't like that. And then also there's a high voltage step up transformer in the fluorescent light. You apply one, in our case 120 to that, steps it up I think to 10,000 volts, and then that goes to either end of the tube, and that ignites the fluorescent ions that are in the tube and makes them glow, and that's how we get the light to shine. But anyway, that transformer is drawing current all the time. Whether the light is bright or dim or burnt out, it still draws the same amount of current, right? To be honest, I wasn't really that concerned about it, but I was thinking, you know, I can be more efficient if I were to go to, say, LED lights. But, you know, back then LED lights were not all that popular. But as time went past, they did come on stream a lot more, and a lot of improvements in them. So I decided I was going to upgrade LED lights. So I put 4-foot LED lights, 4-foot LED tubes in the fluorescent fixtures. And also with the fluorescent lights, over time they dim. They're not as bright after 2 years, say, as they are when you first put them in. And my fluorescent lights were in for 3 or 4 years, then I changed them out, put new ones in. So anyway, they were getting dimmer. So I said, I'm going to put LED lights, see what happens. So I bought 4-foot LED tubes to put in my fluorescent fixtures, and I must say the light increased by 100%. It was beautiful in here, nice and bright, and it still is nice and bright. That's what I have here now, is LED tubes, Still is nice and bright, but in my mind, they're not as bright as when I first put them in. Over time, of course, they dim, like anything, they wear out. These tubes are probably 4 years old now, so yeah. And also, they were just direct replacement for fluorescent tubes. So the step-up transformer is still there. It's still drawing all that current. I think that transformer would draw more current than just an LED light emitting fixture, right? I don't know if that's the case. I'd like to find that out, and I'm going to try and find that out today. And in fact, what I'm up to today is I'm upgrading the lighting in my shop, or I'm going to start to upgrade the lighting in my shop. I'm going to do a test, and I want to bring you along as I do my test. So let's go talk about that. So I've got a couple of concerns. One of them is a 4-foot 2-tube fluorescent fixture with fluorescent tubes in it. How much current does that draw? So I'm going to set up a test here. I'm going to take one of my 4-foot fixtures down off the ceiling. I'm going to set it up on the bench. I'm going to put 2 fluorescent tubes in it, if I can find 2 that work, because I still have them. I save everything, so I still have some fluorescent tubes up here. See if we can get that to work. Then I want to measure the wattage of one fixture with 2 fluorescent tubes in it with the transformer. So that's going to be step 1 of the test. So then step 2 of the test is going to be, I want to take the fluorescent tubes out of that fixture and put the LED tubes in, and with the transformer still in the circuit, and see what the power draw is then, just to see if in fact it is more efficient with LED tubes in it as compared to fluorescent tubes. Okay, I think that'd be an interesting test. And then for the third step of this test, I went on my, not Temu, but Amazon, and I bought 4 of these fixtures here. These are LED fixtures. I think there's 100 LEDs in them. And the arms here are adjustable, so you can tip them up if you want to shine light in the corner or things like that, you know. So I think these might be really nice for directing light where I want them, but I'm concerned that these might cause shadows over the workbench, so I have to be wary of that. You know, I don't want that to happen. They're just a screw-in base, eh? So they just go into an ordinary light socket. Oop, take that off. I'm going to screw this in and check this to see what the power draw is, and also just get an idea of what the lighting would be like off it. So I think it's going to be an interesting test. Let's go try it. So I've taken the fixture down off the ceiling. So the light is diminished in here. I kind of pigtailed everything together so I could have the rest of the lights on. It's still pretty dark in this corner. But anyway, this is the ballast. They call them ballast. It's just a transformer. And when I checked the specs on this, it's 120 volts at 0.45 amps. And when you figure that out, that's around 55 watts, something like that. So that's what the ballast draws. These are 40 watt fluorescent lights. There's 2 of them. That's 80 watts. 80 watts you would figure would be about 0.8 of an amp or 0.7, you know, in that area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this in. I got it kind of halfway wired together here. Going to plug this in and just, I've got a watt meter there, just see what kind of wattage this lamp draws with fluorescent tubes in it. And these are old fluorescent tubes, by the way, so they're not going to be as bright as you would expect. Okay, so I've got my watt measuring device here in the wall, and we're going to just plug this in. It's saying it's 51.3 watts and 51.2. There's, you can see the lights glowing here to the left. So when I did the calculations for the ballast in this fixture, it was 120 volts at 0.45 amps, which is about, you know, around 50 watts. You know, these are ballpark figures, you know. But each tube is 40 watts, so there's another 80 watts of load plus the transformer. So I guess that's why it ends up being at 51.8 right now. 51.8 watts of fluorescent lights. So now I'm going to take these tubes out and put the LED tubes in and see if that's any different. See, it's gone up to 52. As it warms up, it seems like it's drawing more and more power. So I have the LED tubes now in the fixture, and when I was checking these tubes, I couldn't find any wattage rating on them. So I don't know what the wattage rating is, but we're going to plug it in and just see. Okay, let's plug it in and see. First of all, I'd say the LED lights are brighter than the fluorescent light, no doubt about that. And when I check over here, I see that the power now is only 46 watts. So, and I think that power is all being consumed by the transformer, because 120 times 0.45 is about 46, 47, 48 watts, something like that. So that's 46 watts with the LED lights. So now what I want to do is disconnect this fixture totally, and I'm going to wire in this lamp base. Then I'm going to screw in the new LED lamp that I have, and we'll check to see what that draws. So I've got my lamp base wired up now, and I have the new light screwed in there. I want to see how bright this is because I have never turned these on before. So we're going to plug her in and check the wattage and see how bright this is. Alright, so with my lamp right here, let's plug it in for the first time. Okay. I'm going to say that's brighter than the two 4-foot fluorescent lights or the two 4-foot LED lights. And so I'm just going to set that aside there for a minute. And now, if you can see, it's kind of so bright, it's hard to see the meter. It sure is bright, I have to say that. The meter is reading 38.5, 38.4. It's holding steady, 38. So let's just say 38. Well, it's an interesting test. I'm pleased with the results, but I kind of expected this anyways. And there's my results right there. The one fixture with two fluorescent tubes in it was 52 watts, and I have 4 of those fixtures in the shop, so that was 208 watts total. Okay. When I put the LED light tubes in the fluorescent fixtures, I thought that the current was going, or the power was going to drop some, but I wasn't really sure because it was still running off the transformers. But they were 46 watts each, so 2 of those, or 4 of those in the shop was 184 watts in total. And then with these LED lights, which I think are the brightest yet, even brighter than the LED tubes, they were 38 watts each, and 4 of them in the shop was 152. The next test is going to be what kind of shadowing do I get when I put these in. So where I took that one fixture down in the corner here, I'm going to put a light socket in there, and I'm going to screw this in, and we'll put the power back on, and we'll just see what kind of shadows this creates. So let's do that test now. There's the light. It's some bright, I have to say. In fact, it's so bright, it's casting shadows. Like right here in this work surface now, there's a shadow there. So I don't know. It may not be the answer that I was looking for. Just one sec. If I turn these paddles down, what happens? Yeah, it's worse. If I turn them up as far as they'll go, still quite a shadow here. So, an interesting development. And here's one other thing about those lights. When I bought these lights on Amazon, they weren't the cheapest ones in the book, right? But they weren't the most expensive either. I tried to go for the middle of the line ones, and I thought these were good. The reviews all said they were decent. But look what happened when I tried to screw this one in. The base twisted right off the lamp, pull the wire out of it. You know, it's junk basically. So I'm not happy with the lighting that these provide in the shop, and when the base twisted right off like that, that's telling me they're nothing but trouble. So they'll be going back to Amazon. First chance I get to go to town. So anyways, I think I'm going to have to look for another option for lighting, or just stick with the LED tubed fluorescent fixtures, because when you look at my results here, 184 watts for the amount of light I'm getting out of these LED fixtures, it's not bad really. I shouldn't complain, I guess. Maybe just get some new LED tubes, or maybe even get LED tubes that don't need the ballasts. But anyway, I'll have to research that. But in the meantime, I'm going to put that old fixture back up here, get rid of that light, send it back to Amazon, and I want you to let me know in the comments what you think of these lights. Have you tried them? Have you had good luck with them? And what do you think about them? In the meantime, I need you to thumbs up me, and don't forget to subscribe and comment. Have a great week, folks, wherever you are. We'll talk to you soon.